This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Flames and smoke pour out of an abandoned building in downtown Bakersfield. How firefighters tamed the blaze. And tragedy on the set of Alec Baldwin's newest movie. The latest on the scene in New Mexico, where one was killed and one injured. And the Dodgers had their backs against the wall last night. They needed a hero, and they got one. These stories and more on this Friday, October 22nd. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Chris Burton. A massive fire in North Bakersfield last night sent so much smoke into the air, you could smell it all over town. Huge flames shooting out of an abandoned 3-unit apartment complex on Jewett Avenue near Stella Hills Elementary School. The call came in shortly after 8 o'clock last night. Fire crews cut holes in the roof to let out the smoke, which poured out of the structure. The smoke drifted for miles and could even be seen outside the 17 News studio. And we also received several phone calls from people saying they could smell the fire. Officials say it took fire crews 30 minutes to contain the flames, but thankfully no one was hurt. Well, the violence in Kern County continues to plague our streets, especially this year, and we have learned of another killing, this time in Delano. Police say Nathaniel Obad was shot Wednesday night on 12th Avenue. Paramedics tried saving him, but he died. He was 23 years old. Police have not said whether they know who shot Obad. If you know anything about this shooting, you can call Delano Police at 721-3369. And BPD is asking for help locating a woman reported missing yesterday evening. Maiwa Yoon was last seen around 4 p.m. in the 5200 block of Silver Springs Lane. She is described as Hispanic and Asian, about 5'5", 140 pounds with blonde hair and brown eyes, and was last seen wearing a black shirt and black shorts. BPD considers Yoon to be at risk and urges anyone with information to call 327-7111. Well, last night was a fun-filled night that paired local law enforcement with community members. The Kern County Sheriff's Office hosted its National Night Out event. Because of COVID, last year's was canceled. Kids and parents showed up this year at the Sheriff's headquarters on Norris Road, many in their Halloween costumes, to learn more about those who protect and serve them.
All of our different units, they specialize in something, so they brought their specialty. They brought their Raptor, the OHV unit brought their bikes. We have our rural crimes unit, they brought their specialties. We have our CNT, our bomb squad out here.
The kids got to do some hands-on activities and even get an early start on trick-or-treating before the holiday. Now, making news around the nation, tragedy striking in New Mexico. Actor Alec Baldwin says his heart is broken after he fired a prop gun on a movie set yesterday, killing the film cinematographer and wounding another person. It happened in Santa Fe, New Mexico, on the set of the film Rust, during a scene involving the use of a prop gun. Baldwin just released a statement saying, in part, quote, "There are no words to convey my shock and sadness regarding the tragic accident that took the life of Halyna Hutchins, a wife, mother, and deeply admired colleague of ours." He went on to say he is fully cooperating with police investigation and offering support to the Hutchins family. The film's director, meantime, is recovering in the hospital after being shot, and Santa Fe County Sheriff's deputies are investigating. The manhunt for Brian Laundrie is over this morning, but questions surrounding the death of his fiancée, Gabby Petito, linger. Laundrie was the only person of interest in her murder when he disappeared over a month ago, and late yesterday, the FBI announced his remains have been identified in a nature reserve about 5 miles from his family's home. Experts expect a spike in cancer deaths over the next decade. Among other factors, people have been delaying or skipping cancer screenings because they don't want to go near a hospital during COVID or because they're financially unable to book one. Adventist hopes to address this second bit with its free breast exam clinic, happening at the AIS Cancer Center's Breast Center from 1 to 4 p.m. today. Early detection for breast cancer in particular is crucial. Francesca Haney, Director of Breast Services for Adventist, says an event like today's could be life-saving for someone who may not be financially equipped to schedule a regular mammogram. Not only is the initial examination free, but should doctors find anything, follow-up services, including mammograms, are free as well. They will be able to serve about 30 individuals at the clinic today, and reservations are required to get scheduled. Folks can call 637-8101. The AIS Cancer Center is located at 2620 Chester Avenue in downtown Bakersfield.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
And Boo in the Zoo is back at the California Living Museum. Grab your costumes and head on out this weekend to Calm for spectacular games, food, festive decorations, and of course to say hello to the animals. Children of all ages are encouraged to wear their costumes. The event is Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Admission for kids 3 to 12 years old is just $3. 13 years and up is $10. New unemployment data for Kern County paints a promising picture for local economy. Unadjusted data from the Employment Development Department puts Kern's September unemployment rate at 8.7%, down from 9.9% in August. It's the county's lowest unemployment rate since the start of the pandemic, but it is still above that statewide rate of 6.4%. And Governor Gavin Newsom took the first step yesterday toward creating new buffer zones around oil and gas drilling here in California.
It's about public health. It's about safety. It's about dignity. It's about the ability to live your life out loud. You've heard from so many of the representatives, and you've heard from so many of the leaders about their personal story, the doctors that are in their side of a bed trying to encourage mothers to get exercise, but those mothers are told that they have to close the windows at their own home and they shouldn't go out and exercise.
The proposal by the state's Geologic Energy Management Division would prohibit new wells from being built 3,200 feet from sensitive areas. That includes homes, schools, hospitals, and nursing homes. Emissions monitoring of wells within those zones would also be required. Chad Hathaway, founder and CEO of local oil company Hathaway LLC, says the new proposal will result in major negative impacts to the oil industry and workers in Kern County, and that local leaders will push back against the plan.
Our elected supervisors are not going to allow on their watch the taking of their single biggest asset base. And I mean, we're already battling this fight in the ag world for water right now just to survive. Now they're trying to take away, and they've been trying to take away our oil for a long time. Kern County has to stand up. Kern County has to fight for what's theirs. And oil is ours. It belongs to everybody here.
Hathaway added that Californians as a whole consume 1.8 million barrels of oil per day. The plan is also facing backlash from Republican members of the state legislature, including Kern County Assemblyman Vince Fong. Fong released this statement in response, which reads in part, quote, "At a time when Californians need affordable and reliable energy, the governor is once again choosing to increase energy costs." Meantime, the Center on Race, Poverty, and the Environment's community organizer Juan Flores released this statement in support of the plan, saying, quote, "This industry has elevated its own profits above the health, well-being, and lives of primarily people of color and low-income communities." And Kern County Chief Administrative Officer Ryan Alsop issued this statement against the proposal, saying, in part, quote, "The announcement, in addition to his directives to halt permitting, are devastating and the only fast track the elimination of millions of dollars in local tax revenue." For the complete plan, details, and responses from local leaders, check out our report on our website, kget.com. They're barely hanging on, but they still have a chance, and apparently that's all they need. The Dodgers, once again facing elimination, wake up and dominate Game 5 of the National League Championship Series. Although the Dodgers won 11-2, Chris Taylor was the MVP of the night. Taylor, he wears number 3. The fans call him CT3. He hit 3 home runs in the game. He becomes the first player in history to knock 3 out of the park in an elimination game in the playoffs. Last night was the 7th consecutive elimination game win for the Dodgers. There is no game tonight as the Dodgers and Braves head back to Atlanta for Game 6. If the Braves win tomorrow, they will go to the World Series and the Dodgers will go home. But if the Dodgers win tomorrow, they will force a do-or-die game for both teams on Sunday. The winner of that game would then advance to the World Series.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.